Hello friends, welcome to Department of Plant Pathology, KDSP Agriculture College Nasik. In previous lecture, we have studied whips mode of sugarcane, its causal organism, symptomatology and its management. And now today, we are going to see grassy shoot of sugarcane. This is one of the common disease occurs on sugarcane crop and it is caused due to phytoplasma or it is also called as amylose. Amylose means mycoplasma like organism. It is well known disease and its alternate name is yellowing of sugarcane or grassy shoot of sugarcane, or it is also known as white leaf disease of sugarcane. White leaf disease is a particular character of this grassy shoot of sugarcane, and the phenomenon it is called as albinism. That means in albinism all the leaves of sugarcane converted into white leafy structures. This grassy shoot of sugarcane was first time reported in 1949, and in India it is one of the serious disease of sugarcane, especially in Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, Bihar and Uttar Pradesh, where the sugarcane crop grows on large acres. It is more severe in ratoon crops and it reduces juice quality, plant height, cane yield drastically. So this is one of the important diseases of sugarcane that we have to study. In image you can see the symptoms of this grassy shoot of sugarcane. The disease symptoms are usually seen on 2 months after planting of sugarcane. The disease is characterized by production of numerous lanky tillers from the base of the affected shoots. As you can see in left side of the image, there is a numerous lanky tillers were emerged from the base of the affected shoot. Leaves become pale yellow to completely chlorotic, thin and narrow. This is the particular marks of identification for grassy shoot of sugarcane. In that initially the leaves becomes pale yellow colored, and after the severe infection it becomes chlorotic, and in somewhat how white color patches also develop on infected leaves. So we can easily identify that there is the infection of grassy shoot of sugarcane. The plants appear bushy and grass-like structure, and which is caused due to the reduction in the length of the internode. And premature and continuous tillering is also occurs in case of severe infection of this grassy shoot of sugarcane. The affected clumps are stunted and in many instances exhibits premature proliferation of auxiliary buds. This is another important character of this grassy shoot of sugarcane. In a diseased clumps, 1 or 2 thin, weak and small canes were produced after the infection. In diseased plants, young leaves are whitish color, and the phenomenon it is called as albinism. That means the color of leaves changes from green to whitish color. Such phenomenon is called as albinism. And the buds on such canes are usually white, papery and abnormally elongated. This is the particular character of this grassy shoot of sugarcane. This is one of the phytoplasmal disease, and this pathogen is transmitted through planting material, and within the crop it may transfer by means of insect vectors like aphid. In aphid, Apis maedis, Raphalosphaerum maedis, Lagugis saccari, Melanophis saccari and Melanophis endosaccari. These are some aphid vectors which were responsible for transmission of this grassy shoot of sugarcane. At the other side, it may perpetuate through ratoon crop. Ratoon crop serves as a reservoir host for grassy shoot of sugarcane. So, on the basis of this ratoon crop, this pathogen may survive up to the next cropping season. In addition, leaf hoppers like Protista myosta, this is one of the important vector, that is leaf hopper, its name is Protista myosta. It also involves in transmission of this grassy shoot of sugarcane. In some cases, there is a alternate host. Sorry, in some cases there are some collateral hosts which were also responsible for survival of this pathogen. In that, the most important collateral host is sorghum crop. On sorghum crop, it can survive up to the next season. Now the most important point comes, that is management of this grassy shoot. How you can manage this disease, or how you can control this disease at initial level. So in that, the basic principle is use of disease-free seeds. As we have seen, this disease may be transmitted from infected seeds into the healthy field. So in such cases, for planting purpose, we have to use disease-free seeds. The most important point is that to remove and burn the infected clumps periodically. As per as whenever you go for a visit inside the sugarcane crop, when you see the diseased clumps infected by this grassy shoot, such clumps should be uprooted and should be cut and should be burned outside the field periodically. Then avoid ratoon crops. Ratoon crops are more favorable or more susceptible to this grassy shoot of sugarcane, so that we have to avoid such ratoon crops in such problematic areas. Similarly, we can do hot water treatment of seeds at 52 degrees Celsius for 10 minutes or 11 minutes, or aerated steam treatment. It is done for 50 degrees Celsius for 2 hours. These are somewhat effective for controlling the initial inoculum of this disease. Similarly, this disease may spread by insect vectors like aphids and leafhoppers. As we have seen, the aphid vectors were responsible for spreading or transmission of this disease from infected portion to the healthy portion. Similarly, some leafhopper, that is Protista myosta, is responsible for transmission of this disease. So that we have to control such insect vectors and we have to stop their migration from infected portion to the healthy portion. In that way, we can control this disease at very primary level. Another most important set treatment is 500 ppm solution of litromycin. It is antibiotic. It is used for treatment of seeds, so that the initial inoculum of this disease may be controlled. Thanks for watching this video. In next lecture, we will see the sugarcane mosaic and its management. Thank you.